this video, I'd like to show you a few tips for navigating through D2L. Keep in mind that I'm the person that designed the class that you're taking, and I believe that I am uniquely able to give these tips. Other classes that you take may actually be designed a little bit differently, and they may not work this way. So I do encourage you to check this out. So I'm going to go ahead and log in to D2L. I know you know how to do this, but I want you to see the first screen we come to. So this screen is called My Home. And so anytime you click My Home, you come to this main screen, of course, where you can access all of your courses here on the left. And that may change next year, next semester. They could put this widget, this My Courses widget, somewhere else. So we're going to go ahead and go inside of a course, though. We're going to go into this example course right here. Let's go in this one, actually. Alright, and I have all my widget boxes closed, and I'm going to take, from this point forward, I'm actually going to go through your perspective so that I make sure we see it the same way. While we're on this topic, you can close these widget boxes, and this is actually a theme that I want you to sort of practice this semester, and that is if you feel like there's too much information on the page, close things down and then slowly reopen them. Kind of like a turtle that's alarmed when a predator comes and he puts everything inside the shell and hides. That's what you need to do. You're just going to need to hide everything and then slowly peek back out, one widget box at a time, one plus sign at a time. This content browser seems kind of useful, and you definitely want to keep your news widget box open because that's how I'm going to be communicating with you guys. With with announcements. So I'll either type announcements or I might put podcasts that you can sort of click on right here, or I'll put videos like links, maybe links to websites, things like that. And you may find some of the other widget boxes also useful, but for now, I'm thinking that actually, let's look at my admin. Okay. Yeah, I think that this is all that I recommend that you check out for now. You guys also need to sort of poke around and explore and just get comfortable with it. We all need to do that. But for now, this is all I'm going to tell you to open. I'm not even sure I like this content browser thing yet, but supposedly what it's good for is like when you go through some learning activities, the content browser kind of remembers where you last left off. And so if you can just figure out how it works and if you understand it, you might find it really useful, but it might take 3 weeks to get used to it. So let's keep it open and have some hope about it. So up here we've got some places that we might want to go in the class. We've got course home, which is where we're at. Content is where you're going to find the majority of the stuff you do. You want to go through that to get to it. But anytime there's a discussion in the class, you can actually go straight here to the discussion page. Here's a Dropbox link, a link to course quizzes. The class list, that's everybody in the class with their sort of biographies and information about their hobbies. Email is how you email me or the rest of the class. And I'm not going to teach you how to do all this stuff because you do have UWG Online provides tutorials, and I've actually provided them in the first module where I tell you guys to go check out my D2L. Let's see, what's the page called? It's called About D2L Course Den. And so you're going to want to do that because that'll show you where the tutorials are that teach you how to use Desire to Learn. So I'm kind of giving you a superficial lesson here, and then you want to go in. If you need help figuring out how to take a quiz, you need to watch a tutorial. If you need to figure out how to use a Dropbox, you need to go and watch those tutorials. Those are also right up here, UWG Online, and in a minute I'll try to remember, I'll write a note here to show you. If you don't want to be like, okay, where did Miss Huett put the tutorials for how we do D2L? Well, I'm going to show you how you go straight to UWG Online to access their tutorials. Maybe that'll be the last thing that I talk about. So, grades are here, chat, surveys, checklists, rubrics. So in this class, we definitely use content. We have discussion boards. There will be also Dropboxes that you submit some assignments in. In the 34-1 class, there's a few quizzes, and beyond that, there's no other kinds of things that you submit necessarily. It's discussions, Dropboxes, and in 34-1, a couple quizzes. In 21-10, there are no quizzes. All right, so let's go ahead and go into content now so that I can recommend how I think you should browse. So remember, the turtle philosophy. Okay. All right, so you see a bunch of links, and I will tell you, this is just one module of work. So, and it's not all of it's work. A lot of it's just information. So don't get overwhelmed. That's the first thing you need to always remember when you are in these online classes, is that you have to protect yourself from being overwhelmed. And so, practicing the philosophy of the turtle, you can always you can look how you hover over the negative sign. It says collapse row. So you can collapse all of these rows and tighten it all up so that you don't have as much information out there. As the semester progresses, this list will become very long. It will become 7 times as long, or maybe 5 times. There actually are fewer links in later modules, but it will become very long, so you're going to have to learn how to collapse these things, so that you're not, in fact, you could even shut the whole session 1 once you're done with it. You can just shut it, and it's just one line, and that's manageable. So be sure you become a master of collapsing. Okay? So we're here inside of the content section, and honestly, I'm actually a little bit thrown off, so I'm actually going to go back out to course home and come back in, because I could swear that it's not supposed to look like that. So back into content. Okay. And I want to be able to view the content. So see, I had you on pause, and I was kind of panicking, you guys, because I was confused by what I was seeing. Because this is a case of the blind leading the blind a little bit. Because in the welcome video, I told you one thing that's not correct. So what you want to do is just definitely open up some of these. Go ahead and open up, the first time you come in here, open everything up. At least open up the introduction stuff and click this welcome to orientation session. Okay, and then the way it'll work from here is, now we're in the sort of content viewer, and you can slide this thing back and forth as you want. And those of you that have taken online classes know that you usually work in sort of linear fashion in a straight line. In my class, it's designed to kind of for you to go in order rather than jump around, though I know a lot of you will inevitably jump around, and that often ends in confusion because you might have missed something that came before. But ideally, if you can kind of go in order, boom, 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 that's good. And another reason why that's good is because as you go through things, like here's the welcome to the orientation session. Eventually, there will be a YouTube video displayed here that you play, and then there's a session checklist. I'll go ahead and click that, and you can print that checklist. And then when you're done with this section, you of course collapse. So you're practicing the turtle philosophy. Here's your syllabus. Here's this item. You read through things. Maybe you have to print stuff out, or you read it and you're going to come back to it later. However you want to do it. And then when you're done, you collapse it. Okay? So that is one tip. Another tip that my husband just taught me, and again, you guys have to poke around. You have to explore and just see what happens. I don't think Desire to Learn is going to explode if you do that, even though sometimes we're afraid it will. If you do want to pop something out, if your screen is really small and you want to see it outside of the frames of Desire to Learn, you can actually click this, undock. And it opens up. If the content that you're looking at is like a web page, it can undock it. It can probably undock a number of things. It may be able to even undock. Actually, let's test it together. Let's look at a Dropbox. Okay, this is a Dropbox. Let's see if it'll undock it. And it will. So it looks like it can undock pretty much anything. So if you don't want it in the frame, for some reason you just want it to be clean and you want to just focus on that one thing, that's something that you can do quickly. I like that feature. As part of that tip to navigate linearly, one thing you can do, you see over here, is you have an arrow. So if I click left, it should go, this over here should go up, 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 up as I click left. So it should go up the topics. Yep, that's what it's doing. So if you like that feature, make sure you note that and use it. Okay, so I want to tell you something about the way I design a class. Not every teacher does this, but I do, and if I don't, it's because I made a mistake. If you're expected to do something inside of a module, if you're expected to post in a discussion board, or take a quiz, or submit something to a Dropbox, I include that discussion board or that quiz or that Dropbox in the module. So this is, I'm referring to this orientation material, this session, as a module. I use the words module and session sort of interchangeably. Um, so I'll put those things into the module. So you don't necessarily have to go to the discussion button here, or the Dropbox, or the quizzes buttons. Although sometimes it's useful to go straight to them. If you know what you're doing and what you're about and what you need to go work on to continue working on something, go straight to it. But I do want you to know, again, that I provide everything inside of the module that you need for that module. There's one other thing that I want to say before I do what I promised, which was talk about UWG Online. A lot of my material is displayed through my K-12 Texters wiki. And anytime you see K-12 Texters, you know that that's my K-12 Texters wiki. You, of course, can undock it if you want to, and I'll go ahead and do that right now, and we'll look at it in a different tab. You can always print these pages. They print a little bit differently. Oh, let me go ahead and talk about that. Most of the things, like if you're looking at an actual desire to learn page, I'm trying to find now a page that's not like this discussion, for example. You should be able to hit the print button, and it should print the discussion because it's sort of tied to desire to learn. But normally you won't find that you can print my K-12 Texters wiki pages like that. Like if you hit this, at least in my case, it doesn't open up. So if you ever have any trouble with that, just know that you have these more options. You actually have a print button right here. If you go to more options and you hit print, then you should be able to hit file, print, and it should print that, or you should be able to hit Control P, and then you can print that way. It might be better to undock before you print. I'm not really sure, but you can, so undock this thing right here. And then you go here to more options and print. And then you can hit Control P or File Print from there. So you can print any of the wiki pages as well. Back in Course 10, we're going to look at one more wiki page, you guys. And why do I use wikis? Because they're easy. They're easy to do quickly, so I can generate a lot of decent content rather than a little bit of not so decent content at a rapid rate. So over here is a right-hand navigation bar. And just to help you kind of try to figure out what information do I need to pay attention to, because you've got all this noise over here, right? You've got all of this frame here making noise, and then by my using a wiki, you've got more noise over here on the right. You can ignore this noise on the right. You don't have to click any of these links in this navigation bar, but you may actually find it to be useful. So here's a link to the D2L course then. Here's the course plan is always, so like if you, like me, love the course plan, which gives you a global picture of the course, just know that it's going to be threaded. Anytime there's a wiki page of mine in the course, in the module, you have an instant link to the course plan through that wiki page. So you can always click on that, and you can undock that, and then print it. Well, let's see, how did I do that? There we go. You click on that, and then you can print and do whatever you want. So you have to learn how to maneuver in here, and it's just going to take some practice. At first, it's going to be maybe frustrating. It's going to be a little bit noisy, and I do welcome feedback. One thing I could do is I could actually remove this navigation bar. If you think it's too noisy, I could do that. And if you think that makes your experience better and easier to understand, fewer words, I can do that, and we can try that. I can disappear that. So let me know. All right, last thing. Let's go look at UWG Online, just so I can show you where the course in tutorials are, so you can drill down further into all of these features. Go to UWG Online. Go to Students and Faculty, and then Student Help. And then you have a number of tabs, but on this first tab you have Coursed-In, D2L, and these are all tutorials on how you use things like the Dropbox. How do you use it? Now I lost that somehow. So this gives you step-by-step instructions on how you do it, what are the various features, Oh, and look, there's even a YouTube video at the bottom. So be sure that you're accessing that. There's other tabs. News and maintenance may be of use. Maintenance tells you when CourseDen will go down. Get help now. That's how you talk to someone live on the phone. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 is better. But you can also get help after hours on weekends. But again, I would make sure that you sort of plan and try to call this group during the work week. I think most problems you encounter can wait till Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, quite honestly, even though a lot of us like to panic. Um, you know, at least I know some folks do. And then you want to check out the downloads. This will help your browser to work uh, at top speed, and top fitness. And Atomic Learning is a great resource that we have at the university. The login to it is actually in our course syllabus. So I'm not going to tell you what the login is, but I will. Let's see. I'm trying to open it. There we go. I'm just going to show you how you can also watch there. So once you log in using our UWG as our username, the password's in the syllabus. Once you log in, you can look for tutorials, and in this case, you can actually look for Desire to Learn tutorials. I'm scrolling down. And then you can find versions. We're actually in version 9.4. Click Find Tutorials. Open it up, and then the student training. I'm going to expand all. So you can actually go through all of that for about an hour, hour and a half, and learn about how you use CourseDen. We do not use the ePortfolio in this class, so you might just not worry about watching that one. All right, I've talked way enough here, so I will let you go. I hope this helps you navigate through my class. All right.